Snackle, a few minute podcast from Self Access Center and VR Lab, Campus YMX Ecatepec. Have you ever wondered how many times you open the fridge a day, hoping to find something tasty and quick to eat? Picture how your English will be if you ate it in bites. Keep it simple, keep it short, keep it. Snackable, a place where broken English is welcome. Hello, community YMX Ecatepec. What have you been up to? I hope you are doing okay. Welcome to episode 33. I still cannot believe we have reached this amount of episodes. But well, anyways, today in the show, we have such a girl. I mean, I really admire this woman. I think that she is smart, knowledgeable, intelligent. She's funny. She's witty. I think that she is the whole package, not only as a woman but also as a professor, as a teacher. So let's welcome teacher Eva Maria Barrales Fernandez. Welcome.
Thank you, Esna. Thank you to all this beautiful community. This is Snackable Podcast. My pleasure to be here, Esna.
Pleasure's mine, teacher. Thank you for accepting the invitation. And well, I know that you work here as an English language teacher. You work at Cele and also you teach English in GL. So I think it would be lovely if you mention our community something about you. What did you study? What did you do? And so on.
Thank you, Esme. Well, yes, I am teacher Eva Barrales. As you said, I work here in Guayamecatepec in this beautiful campus. I finished my major in accounting also here. Long story, but I used to be a student here. I finished my major. Accounting, in my opinion, accounting is the language of business.
All right, yeah.
But you must be so precise because you need to manage lots of information in order to make the right decisions.
For sure.
Things happen. Finally, I'm here, a teacher.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. So yeah, I remember. I mean, I think it's important to know that our community know that you were my teacher. So I remember back at the time,
Yeah.
like just a few years ago, teacher.
Last semester,
Yeah.
probably.
I remember that when I met you, well, you of course you mentioned that that you studied accounting and so on. But I remember the very first class that you and teacher Alma right to the classroom, and the whole group was happy because we wanted to have teacher Alma. And I mean, I think that she's such an amazing teacher.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about it. But I was sad because you were going to be my teacher. I have to be honest. Yes. And my friends were like, come on, but I wanted to have class with teacher Alma. So when I met your teacher, I swear that I really fell in love with your classes. Well, anyways, let's talk about it. Let you know, to,
Yeah, just to know that.
all right. So as you know, well, I mean, despite the fact that you are a teacher, you have a story with English. So I would like to know, how did you learn? How were you interested in learning English? What's your story with
Well,
English?
let me tell you that, to be honest, I went to a state secondary school,
Yeah.
then also to a state high school. So I was in contact with language because I had to take my English lesson.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as you know, English level in public state school is not as good as it could be. So until I started university, my beautiful father, he encouraged me. He encouraged me to study English. He didn't force me. I want to say that he encouraged me to study English because I didn't know that there was a language center here in the university. You know, sometimes your cousins, your older brothers who are studying in UNAM or in Polytechnico, they mentioned that in those universities they have these facilities. So I discovered that here in Guayamecatepec we had a center of language, and I started studying English until I started university. It's the second semester of my major.
Yeah.
Well, it was great, great teachers. I was able to have a class with a good format, a structured
Yeah,
class.
sure.
Unfortunately, in a very small group. So
Okay.
imagine if you didn't want to participate, Kevin, we were
Yeah.
5, 6 students. So well, later I accomplished the required level to get a passing grade.
Yep.
And well, from them you can get the rest.
The rest of the story, yeah. And what were your strategies to learn? I mean, because yeah, you said that your father encouraged you and so on, but as a student, I mean, which kind of activities did you do, or did you just keep what your teacher mentioned?
Since I was a teenager, I remember that I loved watching series in English. Unfortunately, when you are in the open TV, they are double in Spanish. But for me, it was strange. I mean, I said it didn't match this face. It didn't
Alright, yeah.
correspond to that voice. So I think curiosity. When you are curious about investigating, when you're curious about this actor appears in that, but also is the main character in that play. So I started investigating. I discovered that it was possible. For example, YouTube, it didn't exist at those days, but it was possible to start looking for some blogs. So probably, do you remember the newsletter? The curiosity. I will say curiosity about knowing more.
Yeah, I think that is the main thing, you know? You need to be interested, you need to be curious in order to know also what strategies work for you, you know? I mean, well, in your case, you like watching TV shows, but maybe, I don't know, maybe repeating, I guess. That is a good one. I don't know about you.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, in the old school, I think that was one of the ways that we learned. I remember that in junior high, my teacher was like, repeat this word 10 times. And I was like, repeat it. But I mean, as you were saying, in public schools, it's like very limited the strategies they use, and also because of the amount of students and so on. But yeah,
Yeah, I think that the point with teenagers is that when they discover that they are able to understand lyric songs, for example,
yeah,
it's fascinating
okay.
because
Well,
that's a goal. They achieve a goal. So the important part probably is this.
yeah, and well, I think that is good, but in order to learn like the informal part of the language, you know, because there are some songs or writers that, for example, I have heard a song that says she do, for example.
Uh-huh.
So they don't follow like the
Net.
grammatical yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean that of course that is a way, but I think that it is also important, as you were saying, to have the structure, the formal way of learning.
Right. As a first contact, and later on, you start following the structure, which I know that most of the students, even teachers, we hate grammar, but it's necessary.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you for sharing your story. But also now let's go with this with the professional part of your English. So what inspired you to become an English language teacher?
Well, I think that having great teachers, I want to mention here in this podcast, and I want to thank you didn't know probably teacher Aurora, but teacher Aurora was my first English teacher. I want to say also the teacher Marta because she was my teacher and she was a really great woman. The teacher Jose Luis Acosta. Having great teachers,
Yeah,
it was inspiring. But I remember also that since I was a kid, I used to play with my cousins, with my brothers, I pretended to be the teacher, the teacher. I didn't know that I wanted to be an English teacher. That I wanted to be a teacher. The time passes, and then when I was studying here at university, and I was at the same time studying at the language center. Well, I will say that it's probably not having the ability to say no. The teacher Marta invite me. You remember her, and she said, "Hey, would you like to cover a class next Saturday?" When you're a student, I was shocked. Yeah, it was impossible for me to say no. I can't. No, I don't want.
yeah,
And I said yes. It was an automatic yes.
yeah.
The day that I discovered that I could be in front of a class, the day that I discovered that it was easy. I mean, you must prepare. You must
Yeah.
prepare. But the day that I discovered that I had the opportunity to be in front of the class, sharing what I know, explaining things, I said, okay, why not? And well, unfortunately, when you start working, well, I finished my major. I had the opportunity to be working in an office, in an accounting office. But the distance, if you want to get a better job, you need to commute a lot, right? So I prefer teaching, and probably that's what happened.
That's the thing. All right, that's amazing. I think that I knew something about it, but not that pretty clear, you know. So,
Yeah.
all right,
So my recommendation is be prepared with a no.
exactly. Well,
I always say this is the moment that changed my destiny
exactly.
because I couldn't say no.
And I think that you ended up doing something that you love.
Yeah, probably if I were if I continue working in an office, probably I haven't had so many experiences that I have lived. So I'm happy.
But
Happy with
that's
what happened.
important thing that you are happy. All right, nice. So, what do you find most challenging about teaching English?
Wow. I think that to engage a my students, to convince my students because you know, it's good here at university. Let me know that they are, well, they must pass for English levels. Yeah. It's not enough. It's not enough. And they need extra English tips. So to be able to engage my students to continue doing this, it's hard. And also, Esme, the hardest part is that when I have to explain or when I have to give instructions for writing and speaking. All right. Because I think that sometimes we ask students to accomplish challenges that they haven't even lived in Spanish. All right. I watch to my students and I see their faces. Are the instructions clear? Yes, they are. This is not true. Because what I understand is, come on, teacher, never have I ever sent a formal email. Yeah. Never have I ever written a CV. Never have I ever sent a complaint letter. And I am asking to them to do a challenge in English, but they haven't done it in Spanish. Yeah. So I try to motivate them that they can. And let me tell you that sometimes their reading skills, their listening skills, even for Spanish, improve because we use techniques in English. Okay, yeah. They don't do that in university. University, the teachers ask them to okay, read 2 chapters, read 3 chapters. Yeah. But they didn't wait to give them the skills to read fast, to pay attention in just the important part. You don't need to read the complete chapter because you are looking for a specific information. I don't know, mentioning words like scanning, scheming. Yeah, for sure. Those words probably they know it first in English than in Spanish. Yeah. So this is the hardest part for me.
All right. Yes, I think that I share as well your idea, and I mean, you and I have the experience because I am very sure that you have taken certifications and so on, and you have taken courses in order to get ready for those certifications. And in the courses, it is pretty clear the task that you have to do. And it is like, yeah, I know it because I have experienced it, but the students is like, "Teacher, I mean,
yeah, I remember that the first time that I read a book for reading strategies, it was in English. Yeah. But it was to improve my reading English skills, not Spanish.
Yeah.
So and that's why I said to my students, if you are having problems memorizing, yeah, if you are having problems doing matching exercises, it's because your reading skills, but your general reading skills aren't working. So let's prepare. Look for extra exercises in Spanish and English.
Yeah, but also I think that students that really take into account those pieces of advice are not that many, you know?
No,
just a few.
fortunately,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Well, anyways, as far as I know, you have experience teaching children, teenagers, and adults. So, which is your favorite educational level to teach?
Yeah, for another episode of this beautiful podcast, we will have it. Oh my gosh, what a lots of experiences. Okay, I used to be an kindergarten English teacher. Imagine that. The students were 3 years. Yeah. They didn't even speak. Exactly, yeah. But I was an English teacher. And I love teaching English, but I want to say that dealing with parents can be hard. I mean, so love the children, not really the parents. So if I had to choose one, I will say young adults. That's my favorite level.
Do you have an interesting story about, in your classes, a quick story and something with children or adults or?
Well, with children, it was amazing and it's outstanding the way because it's different. For example, I didn't know the technique. Let me tell you that when you are teaching kindergarten, well, but okay, I'm gonna tell you. What they do is learning vocabulary. Yeah, follow the alphabet. And each class, what they are learning, they are catching vocabulary. All the vocabulary with the letter A. Now, or phonetics, right? And they repeat and repeat and repeat. So it was amazing because I said, okay, tomorrow you are having a pronunciation. And they were ready for the exam. Teacher, I'm ready for the pronunciation. Or acting the verbs, no? So what it was amazing is that they were having exams, mimic exams. Right. So it was curious. And of course, some of them started speaking first words in English rather than in Spanish. And to be the preferred teacher. Yeah. Because it's a competition. Let me tell you that when you are a kindergarten teacher or elementary teacher, it's a competition with other teachers about how many gifts are you getting on Valentine's? Yeah. How many gifts are you getting on Christmas? You are the popular teacher. So, I want to see teacher Eva. Ah, that's great. When you are the popular teacher, are your
The cute
yeah.
part.
But that was good.
Do you notice any difference in how students live now and how they used to?
We are changing. We change every day. Probably it's because we are getting older. Now we are so reflexive. But I want to say something. Nowadays, I see that my students want to live so fast.
All right.
All the time they are, and I don't know why. What work?
Yeah.
So probably my former students used to enjoy more, even the process. I mean, the teacher writes something on the board and they copy the information. And what I want to say, beautiful guys who are listening to this podcast, is that when your teacher is writing something on the board, you must copy, not only because it's a mandatory instructions, but also because it's a process. The input information, you are processing, you are helping to you to understand. And nowadays, screenshots and photos, they are obsessed, right? It's good. I mean, obviously, I'm in favor of technology. I'm fan of technology. Also obsessed with something too.
Yeah.
The hot, but I mean, look for a purpose.
Yeah.
You have a purpose. There is a phrase that I copy from a TV series and I adapted to myself. That is, make a plan, set a goal, and work forward. Yeah, you need to make a plan because it's important. Okay, what is what I want to do? Set a goal. I want to pass. I want to get a certification. I want to get a scholarship and then work toward it. Work, studying, preparing, looking for extra information. When I mentioned that I love teaching young adults, is because in my very happy moment, I said that they can change if they are engaged. They are able. For some students like me, university is the first opportunity to study formal English in a structured way. And I always say to my students that when you are learning English and you receive your exam results, you are able. It's like clinic analysis.
All right.
Because you are seeing your result in reading, in listening, in grammar, and not even in other. Well, I don't. I'm not sure, but I am also pretty sure that there is no other subject
Yeah.
that divides the grade in your skills.
Yeah.
Even the word skills. So that probably that's the difference. Some terms, some semesters ago, students used to be more involved.
Yeah.
Nowadays they are, but it's harder to inspire them. But I continue fighting, and I'm sure that they will do it.
No, I am sure that you are doing pretty great. You know, the I mean, I experienced your classes because as I was mentioned at the beginning, yeah, I was your student, and I remember, I swear that I find similarities between your story and mine, because when I was in your class, I was like, I want to cheat to cheat to cheat.
Oh, okay. Now we have here great revelations.
I want to teach like her, and and I think that you are inspiration. At least you were for me. So I think that nowadays it is the same for your students, because I have heard such great comments about your classes. And as I was saying you, I think that something that um is special about your classes is that you are very witty. So you always say something that or makes you laugh, or something that inspires you to continue learning. You
It's
know?
hard. For
Yeah.
example, my students from the language center, they are studying from 7 to 1 in the afternoon, and then they must spend another 3 hours, 2 hours and a half, or even coming on Saturdays, which is hard. So I will be always grateful for those students who get up earlier or who stay later after classes. But please, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
If you make an effort, you will get a
Yeah,
good
for sure.
result.
For sure. And I think you can testify that.
Opportunities are there. We don't know when, so be prepared.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, well, teacher Eva, thank you so much for sharing your experience, your knowledge, and this friendly person that you are. I saw that I admire you as a teacher, as a woman. I think that you are inspiration for not only your students but also for your colleagues. So, thank you so much for being here, and it was nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to
thank you.
take just a minute to say thank you to Juan, Juan Amador, and you, Esme, because yeah, let me tell you that it's really difficult. When you want to do a project like this, it's hard. There are lots of things that happens, and being willing to cooperate and be just doing this because you want is great. So to the students who are listening to this podcast, because it's mandatory from your teacher, let's continue to it. But if you are listening to this podcast and you have understand art or what we are commenting, it's great. Continue doing. Look for another option.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably snackable is your first option, but there are more.
Yeah.
So if you continue, let me tell you, if you continue doing this, you will see that you improve, right? So thanks a lot, and I hope to see you again.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, community. See you next episode.
Bye.
Bye bye.